The Torso Murders, The Black Hand, The Blonde Bandit. They rank among the country's most infamous crimes and criminals, and all took place right here in Lawrence County, Pennsylvania. And they're the focus of a new exhibit on display for a limited time at the Lawrence County Historical Society.
The exhibit was put together by a group of our interns here at the Historical Society. It focuses on crime, and so the three different topics that we focus on, as well as our modern statistics, are the Torso Murders and Swamp Murders, the Black Hand, as well as Irene Schroeder.
That's why we're talking about these today, that these had some kind of connection.
Dominic Boston of Westminster College created the exhibit on the Swamp and Torso Murders.
Why are we talking about, these individuals back here? Well, it was believed at the time, specifically in the 1930s, that these murders were in connection with other victims in Cleveland. There was a serial killer in Cleveland at the time. One guy killed all these people and dismembered them in some fashion from two different states, and he would travel the railroad. So the Swamp Murders happened at a swamp. It was called Hell's Half Acre. It was a piece of property owned by a man, and that swamp was treacherous. It was honestly a swamp out of the movies. A hunter was just going through the swamp, and it was really, as one of the detectives quoted, a 1 out of 1,000 chance that these bodies were ever found. And he was hunting, he was going duck hunting, and he found the headless body of a man. And that set the newspapers spinning. And only 2 weeks later, another body was found, and a woman's skull was found. So 3 people found in the same month of October. It was so impactful that Halloween, a popular costume for kids was the headless ghost to represent the victims. They never found who they were, how they were killed. They were dismembered in some fashion. That's why they're part of the Torso Murders, because they were dismembered in some fashion. They happened previously to the Swamp Murders, and their cases individually had a lot of attention. They were famous cases. Emma Jackson was an older lady, and she was found in her home nearly decapitated, literally hundreds of yards away. 4 years later, Luigi Naseshi, a 14-year-old boy's body was found. For 8 days straight, he got the front page headline. He was buried by the Elwood City Poor District. But luckily for this exhibit, I was able to do the research, and I found the only death certificate, I believe it's like the only paperwork on Luigi existent today. When we posted that we were doing this exhibit on our Facebook page, and that one of them was the Torso Murders, a woman commented that she was afraid to go by West Pittsburgh. That's where the swamp is, in West Pittsburgh. She was always afraid as a little girl to drive by West Pittsburgh because she thought she was going to get decapitated.
For her project, Jamie Jones chose to research the mafia-style criminal organization, the Black Hand.
Pretty much what the Black Hand was, it's kind of like technically Newcastle's mafia, but it was actually more based in Hillsville. It operated with basically impunity. Like, people were afraid of retaliation by the Black Hand because this group, it was well known for being violent. The quarries around the area would bring in Italian men from Ellis Island, and the Black Hand would masquerade as quarry workers. It was the perfect cover for them. Their bread and butter was just sole old-fashioned exploitation. They would show up, they'd intimidate anyone they could into giving them money, and if someone refused to give them money, they would either beat them, scar them, threaten to kill them, or, in the most extreme case that I've read, blow up their house. I'm just really impressed how they managed to catch them. Pretty much what happened was they had an undercover Pinkerton agent serve as the paymaster for the quarry. The Black Hand member would then be told, oh, you're supposed to have more money coming, why don't you go to the office and get that adjusted? Well, the office was actually made into a makeshift jail. To bring the authorities in without drawing suspicion, they all hid in this train boxcar. Finally, at the end of the day, after 22 men had been gathered, took the 22 men in, and they just used that boxcar to ship them out.
What we wanted to kind of narrate through this exhibit is what our law enforcement has done and the lawmakers have done. Anybody can come in. We're open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday between now and September 6th. 2nd, and the exhibit's only $5, and the interns will be giving the lectures on the Saturdays between now and the 2nd.
On Monday, we'll bring you the story of Irene Schroeder, aka the Blonde Bandit, whose exploits with her boyfriend would later inspire the more infamous couple Bonnie and Clyde.
717 Business Loans. From commercial mortgages to SBA loans or lines of credit and equipment and vehicle loans. 717 Business Loans, big and small. We've done them all.